If you work with machine inside a DAW, you probably know that sometimes it's kind of difficult to have a consistent workflow. Especially when you have multiple instances of machine inside your project, it can be a little bit difficult to navigate between all these instances. I've been working with machine for a long time inside my DAW for my productions. And for me, the easiest way to do this is to have multiple instances of machine and each instance loaded with one instrument or one kit, which is really different as to have one machine with a lot of groups inside it. Because when you have a lot of groups, then you will need different MIDI channels and route the MIDI channels and then route the audio channels as well. So it gets a little bit chaotic, all the tracks and all the routing you have to do. Now the only problem when you're working with my workflow, which is, to have different instances of the plugin, is that when you change the track where you have the instrument, the controller stays on one instance. And so my idea was to find a workaround so that the channel gets automatically selected every time you change the instrument or change the channel where you're working on. Now let me begin by saying that there is no natively way to achieve that. So the only way I found to make this possible was using Keyboard Maestro. So that means that this tutorial is only for Mac users, but fear not. If you use the same principle, I'm sure you'll be able to achieve something similar using another software. The second thing I wanted to say is I'm using Cubase, and that shouldn't be a problem as long as you have a key command to open and close your VST instruments inside a channel. It should work without a problem. So before I begin to explain to you how everything works, let me show you how this workaround works. As you can see here in the screen, I have two instances of machine. Here's the machine 1 and the machine 2. Here in the machine 1, I have loaded a group, which you can see here, and in the machine 2, I have loaded a instrument with a analog thingy synthesizer here. So until now, the only way to change the controller to follow the channel you're working on is to open the channel, and then you can click here the little machine icon. For example, now I have here my kit, and if I wanted to control the synthesizer, I would need to close this and open the other one, click here, and then I have my synthesizer. Quick correction, of course there's another way to focus the controller on a different channel, and this is with the controller itself. You would click Shift plus plugin, and there you have a little text that says instance. But that way is actually more difficult if you have several instances than only clicking with a mouse. So just wanted to say that. Now the problem with this is that, well, if you are working on a production with a lot of channels, a lot of machine instances, you have to repeat the same process each time you want to change the channel, which it adds up, and at the end you're losing a lot of time. Now let me show you how this works inside my DAW with the shortcut I made in Keyboard Maestro. As you can see, we have here the first channel and the second channel, right? If I press A, which is my keyboard shortcut for open all my instruments, or the instruments inside the channel, you see that I have it here on my machine controller, right? If I go and press A again and go to the second channel and press A, it opens up, and now I have the synthesizer. If I change again to the kit and press A, now I have the kit here on my controller again. Let's dive in here into Keyboard Maestro, and I'm going to explain to you how the macro works, and I'll also leave a link in the description below if you want to download the macros directly. We can see that the trigger is the letter A, and the key A is the key that I'm using to open my VST instruments, which are loaded in a particular channel. So the first action we want to do is to type the A keystroke. It's kind of a pass through, because if we wouldn't have this, the instrument wouldn't open at all. Now, the second thing we need to do is to put a pause. Now in my computer, I have it set to 250 milliseconds, but depending on how long your computer takes to show the machine GUI, you may have to increase it, or maybe you can also decrease it. And the third action we need is the most important one. In Keyboard Maestro, there is an action called click at found image. So you'll want to load this one, and the trick is to go here under machine, open it, and you want to make a screenshot of this icon. Keep in mind that you have to do it on the machine that is not selected, because if you take this screenshot from this one, which is lighted up, it won't work. So now that we have the screenshot, we'll have to drag the file of the image here to this little square, and that's it. Then it should work. I also have a second version of this macro, which only adds a new action that closes the plugin again. And I have it set it up this way because I don't always want to have the GUI of the machine here in the screen. So when I press Alt A, it opens the plugin and then closes it again. Let me show you. If I go here, let me record that again so you can see it. I have here selected my first channel. If I pressed Alt A, you see the plugin disappears and it changes. Let me repeat that again. So here, Alt A, and it changes automatically. Have a look. Alt A, you see? Alt A, and it changes automatically, but the plugin window closes after the hardware is focused on the respective channel. Okay, so as I said, you can find the link in the description below to download these macros for you to use with your Keyboard Maestro. And if you think this is helpful, consider using the super thanks button below, or just give a like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.